Welcome into New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. And in today's video, I just want to go over a couple of things that I would like to see the Giants do prior to the preseason being kicked off in a couple of months. So my perfect plan for the remainder of the offseason following the 2024 NFL Draft, we're going to unveil that in today's show. But if you are ready for the season to start, I'm ready, man. I'm ready for week one. I'm ready to spend my Sundays watching New York Giants football again. If you're with me, hit that thumbs up icon right now. Coming up, my perfect off-season plan for the New York Giants. Not a lot of things you can do, but there are some things that I think can be done to make this a better football team and increase the floor going into the season, as Las Vegas believes that the Giants are going to win somewhere around 6.5 games. Number one thing I think the Giants should do, and this is a full 180 for me. This time last year, we were talking about cutting Darius Slayton and trading Darius Slayton. He did take that. That was 2 years ago, actually, talking that pay cut, being a cut candidate, signed that extension last year. I think extending Darius Slayton makes a lot of sense for the New York Giants for a couple of different reasons. But the number one thing is, and this comes from Over the Cap, check them out, the best salary cap site in the game. They say if you extend Darius Slayton, you save $3.6 million right now. And where the Giants are at when it comes to the salary cap and cap space, every dollar helps. And you can use this money to sign two guys that I'm going to talk about later. But Darius Slayton has been really good for the New York Giants. There's no doubt about it. He's had some really good seasons, and we've seen that since he's become a part of this team. We know he's a deep threat, and I think actually that he's better than what he has shown. I go back to the last two games of the season last year, catches a 70-yard touchdown from Tyrod Taylor. He catches an 80-yard touchdown from Tyrod Taylor. We just need a quarterback that's willing to take the top off the defense, and Darius Slayton is no stranger to being the Giants' leading receiver. He was in 2023, he was in 2022, he was in 2020, and he was in 2019. And I think keeping him around makes a lot of sense. And you don't want to have him go into free agency after another big year, and then you're having to pay him more than you want to. And I think keeping a foursome of receivers of Neighbors, Slayton, Hyatt, and Robinson for now and the immediate future make a lot of sense. Slayton's looking for a payday, though. There's no doubt about it. So here are some of the contracts signed by wide receivers in free agency. Calvin Ridley, he secured the bag, signed a 4-year, $92 million deal. Slayton ain't getting that. Darnell Mooney, 3-year, $39 million deal. I bet Slayton's looking at that and saying, I should probably get that. And same as Gabe Davis, who ended up signing with Jacksonville, right? Jacksonville, Gabe Davis? Yeah, I don't know why I just blanked on that. 3-year, $39 million deal as well. Those are two contracts that I think are the most comparable that Slayton is looking to sign. I bet he thinks he's worth that type of money after putting up a couple of big-time seasons like he has. Maybe it's 3 for 30 compared to 3 for 39. But I think it makes a lot of sense that he wants money. The NFL is all about opportunity and taking advantage of your opportunity when the leverage leans in your favor. And right now, he's coming off a couple of good seasons, and it's time for him to probably cash in, and that's what his agent is telling him. Do you think the Giants should extend him, though? Should they give him a new contract, or should they let him play out the last year of his deal and then run the risk of losing him in a free agency for potentially nothing? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know what you think in the comment section. So we've just extended Darius Slayton. That's what I did, because I'm the GM in today's show. You saved $3.5 million. Take that $3.5 million, ball it up, and throw it to Xavien Howard. And go sign Xavien Howard in NFL free agency. I've been banging the table saying, go get Stephon Gilmore. But Xavien Howard's only 30 years old. And I think Gilmore is probably a better corner than Howard at this point. But Howard can be more than just a one-year rental if the Giants want him to. Was he great last year? No. Is he that same guy that once led the league in interceptions? No. But I think that Howard helps this team now, will also help this team in the future, maybe when he's not even a part of this roster. Deonte Banks had some ups in downs last year. Looked like a rookie at times, looked like a guy that was going to be a really good player. But I think there's something to having a young player on your team and putting a veteran that has been one of the best players in the league at that position alongside of him, shows him the tricks of the trade, shows him how to be a pro, shows him how to take care of his body, shows him how to break down film, shows him the little cheat codes that Xavien Howard has picked up across his career, because McLeod, Flott, Hawkins, David Long Jr., Andrew Phillips, Aaron Robinson, and Darnay Holmes, they've never been even close to what Xavien Howard has been. And even last year, Howard was still a pretty good player for the Miami Dolphins. Allowed a completion percentage of just 62%, 500 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had 12 pass breakups. He's got some of the best ball skills in the National Football League. QB rating a little bit high when targeted. I would like to see him here for his ability, his production, but also a mentor to a younger player in Deonte Banks. Giants desperately need a CB2. I'd be awesome, very, very, very thrilled if Howard and Banks are your 2 boundary corners going into the year. Step number 3 for me in my offseason plan for the rest of the way is just to cut Darren Waller. And it's nothing because of what he's doing right now. Like, I actually am thinking about and praying and hoping that Darren Waller, the person, is okay. He's had a tough offseason, man, and I feel bad for him. And when you're an athlete and your identity is an athlete, and you start to have injuries that knock you off of that identity, and you can't perform at the level you will, that's sometimes a tough pill to swallow. And we know everything else that's gone off the field with him and the rumors and stuff like that. But I would cut him so he could focus on himself and his life after football. But I'm not making him a pre-June 1st cut. I'm making him a post-June 1st cut. And I am saving $11.6 million in salary cap space. You take this 11.6 and you throw it to your rookie class, and you use that money to sign him. It would be a post-June 1st cut for Darren Waller, and you could cut him tomorrow and allocate him as a post-June 1st cut. In all honesty, I want Darren Waller to be on this team. Because I think the Giants are better if Waller plays. But you know what? I don't see how it's going to happen. He hasn't played more than 12 games in 3 years. In an ideal world, Waller plays, he stays healthy, and you get to have him for one more year, and he's better. But with the injuries and the salary cap relief, and him maybe not being the same player that he is, as well as factoring in the man, Darren Waller, I just don't think he's in a spot to be a part of this team. So which means Theo Johnson, next man up. That is what I would do. I would cut him post-June 1, save $11 million, and I throw Theo Johnson to the Wolves and say, you know what, sink or swim. We're going to find out if you're ready for this league. I believe in him. I think we could look back in 2 years from now and say Theo Johnson was the steal of the 2024 NFL Draft. Who do you think has more catches this year? Who is going to lead the Giants in grabs at tight end? Is it Belly? Is it Theo? Type DB for Daniel Bellinger, or TJ for Theo Johnson. I've got more things I want to see the Giants do before week 1. But first, get your brand new Brian Burns New York Giants jersey today. Go to chatsports.com/Burns. That's chatsports.com/Burns. He's wearing number 0. We've just got the picture of the 00, but it will come with a singular 0. Get yours today. That way you can be wearing it week 1 when Brian Burns gets his first sack as a New York Giant. We saved $3.6 million. We've saved $11 million. Go out and sign Calais Campbell. My 2 biggest needs for the Giants right now outside of the quarterback position are second corner. We just filled that need with Xavien Howard, and another interior defensive lineman in Calais Campbell. He's the best left available in free agency. He may be 37 years old, but he is still kicking like a young bull. 56 tackles last year, 6.5 sacks, 10 tackles for loss, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery. I've always just kind of have a soft spot for Calais Campbell. One of my trainers in high school ended up training Calais Campbell, obviously prior to training me, and the things that he just would say about Calais Campbell always got me fired up. And the dude's still a damn good football player, and he plays a position that I think right now the Giants could benefit from adding another talented individual for. We know Dexter Lawrence is awesome. But after that, there's just question marks on the defensive tackle depth chart for the Giants. I think Raheem Nunez-Roches is at best a rotational interior defensive lineman. Jordan Riley is entering his second year after being a 6th-round pick he might have actually been a 7th-round pick out of Oregon. I don't remember at this point. But a late day 3 pick. DJ Davidson, late day 3 pick. Boogie Basham, he's more of an edge. Horn, haven't seen much for him. Chapman was just a UDFA pretty much. So, yeah, go out and get Calais Campbell. And I'll tell you this much. You roll out Burns, Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence, and Calais Campbell, you're going to win the game with just the way that they walk off the bus. They're winning games the way they walk off the bus. That's the scariest looking defensive line in the league. Double down on your strengths. Go out and sign Calais Campbell. It'll help everybody on this football team. Last thing I want to see the Giants do, which I don't know if they will, I think they should, is cross, and I have been reluctant to say this and been reluctant to even think about this because I don't want to think in a world exists where Evan Neal is not the starting right tackle of this team. But I would cross-train Evan Neal at offensive guard and offensive tackle this offseason. Man, I can't believe we're doing this, and we're having this talk 2 years after Evan Neal was the number 7 overall pick and classified as the most pro-ready and can't-miss prospect. But it's crazy. He holds all the cards to his future. And honestly, he holds all the cards to this team. I don't think there's any person on this team that can change the future of the New York Giants more than Evan Neal. Because if Evan Neal is great, if Evan Neal lives up to the hype, which who knows if that's possible, you've got 2 of the best tackles in the National Football League. And then offensive line becomes a strength for this team. And when that happens, it unblocks the floodgates and you can do anything as an offense. But if you're not going to train Neal as a guard and you're just going to stick him at right tackle and you're going to say, we're living and dying with you as a tackle, you're just punting on him. Because what happens if Evan Neal after week 3 shows you he's not ready to play and he's not ready to be a starting tackle in this league? That means he will be benched, and that means Jermaine Illuminor will slide to right tackle. And if you're not cross-training Neal at guard, where does he go? To the bench? And now after 3 seasons, we're just saying, I know we messed up with the 7th overall pick. We're not going to do anything to fix it. I would cross-train him at guard just to try to salvage any sort of hope that you have for him as a football player. Not sure the Giants will, but I do know if he struggles at the start of the 2024 season, they're not just going to die with him on that island by himself. He will be benched. Illuminor will slide to right tackle, and I believe it'll be Aaron Stinney who comes in at that right guard spot. So my 5 moves I would like to see the Giants make going into the season. Extend Darius Slayton. Sign Xavien Howard. Cut Darren Waller post June 1. Sign Calais Campbell and cross-train Evan Neal at offensive guard and offensive tackle. Does that win you a Super Bowl? No. But you know what? Brick by brick, day by day, 1% better every single day, and we'll be on the right track. 6.5 wins for the Giants this year. The odds makers out west have set the win total for the Giants at 6.5. Will they win over that or under that? O for over, U for under. Give me your prediction on the Giants win total for this upcoming season.